Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 30-year-old South Carolina resident Thomas Casselman headed to the Capitol after Donald Trump's speech. Castleman maneuvered to the front of the mob. He confronted officers. First, Castleman held out a copy of the Constitution, and he was questioning the officers' loyalty. And then Castleman yelled at them, and he said that they were, quote, fighting the wrong fight. He also told the police that they should, quote, be facing that way, meaning they should be facing the Capitol and standing with the mob. And then a short time later, the police line collapsed and Casselman started spraying the police with bear spray. So one of the officers who was sprayed by Casselman told the investigators that he was sprayed with so many chemicals that day that, quote, his lungs seized up, he experienced convulsions, and he could hardly breathe. So following the Capitol attack, Casselman bragged about his crimes, and he shared photos and videos from that day. So the FBI had received numerous tips about Casselman. Several people told the investigators that Casselman had cut his hair and he shaved his face after January 6th. So he was actively trying to avoid being identified. Then Casselman also deleted his Facebook account. And agents later interviewed Casselman. They interviewed him on December 28th of 2021. He admitted to being at the Capitol. In fact, he claimed that he had PTSD from what took place that day. And then he admitted that he deleted his photos and his social media. And he said, quote, I don't know if that falls under destruction of evidence. But when agents showed him photos of himself from January 6th, and they said, is this you? He refused to answer any more questions without an attorney. So investigators said Casselman's search history shows, quote, a deeply concerning interest in organizations committed to varying degrees of violent extremism. Evidently, he searched for terms that involved conspiracy theories, things like QAnon, terrorist groups. He also searched for how to make bombs. And Casselman Googled things like, quote, the statute of limitations for assault on a police officer, the statute of limitations for assault on a federal officer, assaulting a federal officer punishment, and, quote, how long does Verizon keep text messages? Kind of obvious. So he also asked the internet, quote, what is the definition of domestic terrorist? That's a pretty easy one. I mean, just go take a look in the mirror, guy. So Casselman was arrested on March 28th of 2023, and he was charged with assaulting officers with a dangerous weapon, civil disorder, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, 2 counts of physical violence, one of which included a dangerous weapon enhancement, and carrying a dangerous weapon on Capitol grounds. In March of 2023, Casselman pleaded guilty to the assault charge, but for some reason they agreed to drop the weapon enhancement. So Casselman was looking at up to 8 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. Unfortunately, the government sentencing memo isn't available, so I only know that they requested 40 months in prison. Now, based on the hundreds of other cases I've covered, I assume they probably asked for 3 years of probation, probably $2,000 in restitution. That's been pretty standard. U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich presided over this case, and she was apparently unmoved by his defense attorney. Casselman's defense attorney claimed that Casselman, quote, knew instantly that his action that day was wrong. The guilt has consumed him, and he has spent the last 3.5 years in a cycle of shielding his family, isolating himself, awaiting punishment, and punishing himself. Really? Okay. Yeah, I'm not buying it. If that's the case, he would have turned himself in. But when all was said and done, Judge Friedrich sentenced Casselman to 40 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So for once, she gave the prosecutor what they asked for. This is highly unusual. If you've been following these cases, you know, for Judge Friedrich especially, she tends to be pretty weak. And I have to say, you know, now that I've seen Judge Aileen Cannon in action, another Trump appointee like Friedrich, I owe Friedrich an apology. I think I was too tough on her. I thought she was the biggest Trump humper, but Judge Aileen Cannon puts Friedrich to shame. So yeah, she makes Friedrich look like the Gestapo, like she is so severe and harsh in her punishments compared to Cannon. Anyway, I will let you all know if I hear any more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.